What is up, YouTube? James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of the Singles Battle Spot Ladder. Today we're going to be mixing things up a bit from how I normally starting from now on for the series. So normally I use different QR code teams every episode, but this time I'm feeling it's not exactly that great if I'm not learning the team from more than one episode. So I feel like maybe I should just extend it more. So we'll be using one team every week, so every 3 episodes we'll have a new team. And this team that we're using got to 2100 on season 7 of the Pokemon Global Links rating season. We have Cotton Guard Altaria, we got Subcalm Mind, Focus Blast Tapu Lele, Lum Titar, Scarf Landers Fairy, Specs Rotom Wash, I believe, and I believe just standard Hazard Ferrothorn. So should be pretty interesting. We're going to be using this team for this episode and the next 2. Let's see how it goes. So I've been playing some singles as well, trying to practice, and I'm still pretty new to how this works, but we got our first opponent, 1485 rated player from Japan. To kick things off here, we got the team of Mamoswine, Naganadel, the Thunderous Fairing, Heatran, Mimikyu, and Gyarados. So Specs Rotom looks really solid in this matchup. I really like Specs Rotom a lot. There are a lot of Pokemon that I think could do really well in this matchup. I want to think. I like Landorus. I like Rotom Wash. I don't really like Tyranitar much at all. Kind of like Altaria, but Altaria doesn't hit Heatran. But then again, my Landorus plus my Rotom Wash does. Let me just check my sets real quick. Yeah, maybe. Well, then again, I think Altaria can beat down Gyarados for sure. I mean, what did they run? Waterfall, Earthquake, Crunch, I think, and Dragon Dance. I think I'll go Landorus as a lead. It's just good. U-turn momentum is great. Altaria and Rotom Wash in the back. I gotta worry about Naganadel. Naganadel is a scary threat, but here, I think the Pokemon choices I work are solid. Scarf Landorus helps me revenge KO, U-turn out. Helps against Mimikyu, U-turn out, Breakers Disguise. So I feel like this is the best optimal lead, but we'll see here. Mimikyu's scary and Naganadel is both scary, and dealing with both of them at the same time is definitely going to be a troublesome thing. As we see Landorus lead. And what's my opponent going to lead? It's going to be Mimikyu. Okay. So that Pokemon's a threat. I do want to U-turn out right away, or do I just want to stay in an Earthquake? I think U-turn's better because I don't want to give Gyarados an opportune time to set up. I already intimidated the Mimikyu. Yeah, Mimikyu is a problem. Pharaoh might have been great here, but I didn't want to bring Pharaoh in this matchup. Yeah, because there's a lot of potential moves that can hit Pharaoh. I think I want to U-turn straight away. So let us see what the Mimikyu is going to do. Probably Swords Dance, I would imagine. I do want to go out into my Rotom, I think, because Rotom could potentially Volt Switch. I'm thinking of next play. Do I want to sack Rotom to a Z move, or do I want to just go back into Landorus and take a neutral Z move? This Rotom looks like it does have bulk investment. I just don't know if it will live +1 Mimikyu and Z. Oh, Substitute. That's actually really good for me. Okay. So I'll throw off a Specs Volt Switch on, I'm guessing, a Swords Dance, and then I think Mimikyu was put in range of Earthquake, to be honest. Yeah, so that works out beautifully. Sub Mimikyu, wow. Isn't it on this team too? Oh, no, I was looking at a different team. But that's really interesting. I've never seen Sub Mimikyu before. Okay. So I'm going to throw off a Volt Switch. I do break the Mimikyu's sub, and unless Mimikyu goes for another sub, but it's like this Mimikyu is going to be at -2 then, so it won't be doing much damage. Wonder what set this is. Maybe Sub Curse? It is Sub Curse. Oh, that's beautiful actually, because I get to Volt Switch out, and Volt Switch doesn't pass like Baton Pass. So yeah, this Mimikyu just got really weakened for no reason. I do get my Volt Switch off, and now do I care if Gyarados sets up? Not really, right? I'm just trying to think, what's the best optimal play? Because if I go Landorus, and well, I don't want to go Altaria if it is Z-move Mimikyu. I think I do want to go my Landorus. The question is, what move do I want to connect? Because I could throw off a Stone Edge. I don't think that's worth it because Gyarados can always Mega Evolve, and then I'm in the same situation. Earthquake's looking good to me. Yeah, because U-Turn's not going to KO. I think I'm just going to throw off an Earthquake. I don't care if you switch out on a Gyarados. I do have Altaria, I think, as a switch-in. As long as it's not Ice Fang on Gyarados, which I kind of doubt on this team, to be honest. I haven't really seen much Ice Fang Mega Gyarados. So, and I really want to set up a Cotton Guard with my Altaria, because I think Cotton Guard could be really nice. I don't know what Mimikyu's going to do. Really interesting pick. But luckily, I just have a lot of momentum with U-Turn and Volt Switch. So let's see what my opponent's going to do. I could see a switch out hard into Gyarados. I don't know if you would, though. Would you switch hard into Gyarados? I mean, it's the same situation. Mimikyu's pretty weakened and will go down to anything. And I really just want to get a Cotton Guard up with my Altaria. I feel like if Gyarados does decide to come in, because then Altaria should be able to beat my opponent's team. Well, other than Heatran. Heatran's going to be able to wall Altaria. But I do have a Landorus and Rotom Wash in the back. So Mimikyu is going to retreat here into Gyarados. So I could have went for Stone Edge there. But I don't feel like it was optimal if I missed and then Mimikyu gets to throw off like a Z move or something to weaken my Landorus. So I'll take this trade. And I'm pretty sure if you send out Gyarados, you're just going to Dragon Dance and you do probably have Earthquake. So I'm going to go hard into Altaria and then Mega Evolve Cotton Guard, I think. Yeah, because Ice Fang at +1 shouldn't do too much. And I'm pretty sure that my Altaria should be able to wall the Gyarados. So I should be okay. The question is, do I want a Hyper Voice or do I want a Cotton Guard? Because Hyper Voice puts the Gyarados in range of Superpower, but I don't know if it's Jolly Gyarados. Altaria, Dragon Dance, okay. I do want a Cotton Guard up because I don't feel like, I don't know, if this does have Ice Fang, I guess it's a bit problematic. If this Gyarados late has Crunch, Waterfall, Earthquake, it cannot touch me. So I'll throw off a Cotton Guard here. Mega Evolve, throw off a Cotton Guard, because even though my opponent can hit me with an Earthquake, I'm not sure if you're going to Earthquake immediately. Although I don't feel like an Earthquake should do too much to Altaria, and I'm pretty sure I could roost off the damage anyway. I'm pretty sure I'll live a +1 Earthquake and then an Earthquake after my Cotton Guard boost, so I'll be able to roost. And if that doesn't work, yeah, we're in trouble. But honestly, I do expect Mega Gyarados to have the 2 stabs, Waterfall plus Crunch. And I would assume Earthquake if you decide to Dragon Dance up immediately because of Rotom in the back. You're going to see it stay in, and is it not Mega Evolving? Well, then again, I am a Fairy type, so maybe that does make a lot of sense. So let's see what my opponent's going to throw off here. It is Ice Fang, but it's not Mega, so it's not too much. Yeah. Oh, Pokemon, why do you hate me? So, does have Ice Fang, okay. And there goes my Altaria plans. I'm going to go out into Rotom. That's so unfortunate. As you saw, I took the Ice Fang well. I would have been able to wall this Gyarados, but now I have to change up my plans. I'm going to go Rotom on another Ice Fang. 10%. Come on. Alright. That does a lot. Basically, now I'm hoping he doesn't have Earthquake. I do kind of want to scout for it. I could go Landorus, but honestly, I don't see you having Earthquake. Do you? Actually, your team is quite weak to Rotom. I could see it. Although you might just Mega Evolve and click Crunch. Do I hope Rotom survives it? I think I have to. I think I have to. Why did you have to get the turn 1 freeze? Alright. I'm gonna Volt Switch. I think there's not much I can do now. I mean, there's still ways out of this, but like, I don't want Landorus too weakened yet, because I think Landorus could be important for later in the game. The problem is I need a lot of these mons healthy, and that's why I brought Altaria. Maybe I should have brought Pharaoh instead, but then again, Frozen Pharaoh's not going to do much either. As Gyarados is going to withdraw, so I'm guessing it doesn't have Earthquake at that point. Naganadel going to come out. That's excellent for me, because I get a Volt Switch off into Naganadel, which is really huge here. Very nice. Now, I don't believe they run Scarf Naganadel. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go Landorus. And honestly, if that Gyarados decides to hard switch out, I don't know if it's like fearing Earthquake not going to KO or if it's fearing something else. Or maybe it just doesn't have Earthquake. If that's the case, I'm in a really good position where I can just Earthquake the Naganadel, because even if Gyarados comes back in, I can go into Rotom, and if he decides to Dragon Dance up, it's the same position, I feel like. Although he could have 2 crunches, but I do want to throw off a Scarf for Earthquake. I could U-turn in Fury, but I don't want to go down to anything from this Naganadel and give it a speed boost. Because if this thing gets a speed boost and has the Z move, it's going to nuke my entire team. Like, I can't stop this Naganadel if it does get the speed boost. Like, if it decides to go for a Draconium or Draco Meteor on my U-turn. So I will always go for Earthquake 100% into Naganadel, because I don't feel like I can ever risk Naganadel getting a Beast Boost. I don't think I can ever risk it. So let's see what my opponent's going to do. If you sack Naganadel, that's a huge relief for me, because that's one big threat out of the way. And if you don't, I could always go Rotom. Man. Okay, you do stay with Naganadel. Nice. So I am able to get rid of Naganadel. Maybe my opponent thought I was going to U-turn, but I do get rid of Naganadel. Or maybe my opponent's looking for a free setup with Gyarados right here. If Mimikyu comes out, I'm just going to Earthquake. I'm pretty sure Gyarados is just going to come out. And I would say Dragon Dance here, although you might Crunch. Can't really do much about my situation. I do have to go for a... I think I do have to go for the Rotom here. I have to go on the Rotom. I don't feel... Because Altaria can't do anything. Like, it literally can't do anything. I could sack it, but the problem is my opponent could just keep Dragon Dancing up on Altaria. So it is going to be the Dragon Dance once again, and I will just click... Do I need Rotom to win the game? Well, yes, because if I go in a Landers here on the Crunch, my opponent could set up again. So just throw off a Volt Switch. Even the worst case scenario is late Gyarados, I guess, Dragon Dancing up again, which then could be a problem. Although, I don't know if Specs Thunderbolt knocks out Mega Gyarados, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure you're just going to Mega Ball here. But Mega Gyarados has a lot of special defense, so that's why I don't want to throw off a Thunderbolt, because I don't know the investments. And I just don't know. We'll see here. Is Mega Gyarados on the field? Let's see. I need Rotom to take a Crunch. I'm assuming it's Crunch. It's a Waterfall trying to flinch me. Oh, great. Please don't flinch. Nice. Okay, we got a Volt Switch off. Looks like Specs Thunderbolt was actually going to KO. I didn't know my calc. Okay. What speed stat is this Landers? 140. What investment is that? That's like 228 Adamant? Okay. Get Landers in. Get that Intimidate off. And... Got to beat Jolly, right, in order to outspeed me? Yes, you do. I'm not sure if they run Jolly. I'm just going to U-turn. They actually might run Jolly because of Tapu Koko. Or they just might run enough speed, like 135, to outspeed Tapu Koko after Dragon Dance. Oh, it is. Okay. That's not good. Waterfall. That's KO Landers. But if I went into Rotom, the problem is a Waterfall into anything else would have probably knocked me out. Okay. Let's go, Rotom. I need you to put in some work. So I guess clicking Thunderbolt might have been my choke here. I probably should have just clicked Thunderbolt, to be honest. I'm just gonna click Thunderbolt now. I don't think Volt Switch helps anything. And it is Gyarados does a Crunch. I'm pretty sure I'm in range for it. Okay. Lesson learned. Specs Thunderbolt can KO Mega Gyarados, which is something I didn't know. And they run Jolly. A lot of speed. Okay, it's just going for Waterfall again. Okay. Rotom takes that. Thunderbolt does KO the Gyarados. Alright. So we're technically still in this, yet I just... Alright, let's see. Mimikyu. Comes down to the Mimikyu set. We haven't seen the Z move yet either. If it misses play rough, that could be good. I also don't know what this Rotom's investment is, so... Because it has a lot of HP. I wonder if it's actually speed or if it's special attack. Because this is the first time I'm using this team, so I have no idea. Goes for sub. Oh, it's a berry. What? Salic berry? What? Okay. Break the sub. I mean, that does make sense for my opponent, I think. Yeah, it is Salic berry. What is his moveset? KOs me now. What? Huh? What Mimikyu set was that? We end up winning, but that's not a game I think I should have won. Well, if the freeze didn't happen, then I feel like I'm in a really solid spot with the Cotton Guard up, because I force probably Gyarados to switch out, or I get a Hyper Voice off and get to do a lot of damage. And even Naganadel comes in like a hard switch in. One is risking a Hyper Voice every turn. Two, I could always just go Landorus on probably the Sludge Bomb, unless you really want to go for a hard read and go for like a Draco Meteor, Draconium into an Altaria. Like, that's a really, really risky read there. So I think Landis would always be the play, and I always click Earthquake. So I still have to maneuver a lot, but I feel like it would have been like much easier game in my opinion. Especially since I could have always like that turn where I had to Volt Switch, I could have always went Altaria right there. But we got Seiya as our next opponent. We got the team of the Mimikyu, Charizard, Gyarados, Landisfarian, Tapu Koko, and Salamence. I'm still thinking about the last game, but I'll tell my thoughts after this game as well. So, 3 potential Mega Evolutions: Charizard, Gyarados, and Salamence. Okay. Altaria can do really well since Salamence doesn't usually carry a... Salamence doesn't usually carry a drag... Well, even if it carries Dragon type move, it doesn't matter in this case. I think Altaria is actually really solid in this game. I just have to get rid of the Mimikyu. I think my own Landorus as a lead is really solid here. I honestly like Rotom a lot still. I don't know, Pharaoh could be good, but I think my opponent brings Charizard or Salamence. I mean, your matchup against Pharaoh isn't that great. Lele doesn't really do much work here, since it's a bulky Lele, it looks like. Let me see. Is it a bulky Lele? 147. I mean, it has speed. It's modest. Okay. I don't think it's worth, though. Tyranitar, I don't think it's worth in this matchup. Landorus is a problem. Yeah. I think I'll go Landorus, Rotom, and Altaria. I think it's the most solid 3 I can bring. We'll see what my opponent decides to opt for, though. I wonder what the last move on that Gyarados was last game, because it kept going for Waterfall. I'm guessing it was... I'm guessing maybe Sub. Or maybe it was Rest. Let's see here. This game, I'm going to have to do a lot of switching once again. It's kind of similar to the last team, but we'll see. Landorus is going to lead. So, I guess we get to find out if he's Scarf right away. Maybe this is Shiny Landorus. Nice. Although I prefer regular Landorus. Okay. Oh, he is Scarf. Because his Intimidate went off first. So that's the useful thing about running slow Scarf Landorus, is you get to find out if they're Scarf Landorus by their Intimidate. And I think we're both going to throw off a U-turn, so I'm just going to U-turn right here and figure out what he wants to go out into. As he just clicks in Rock Slide. Oh, boy. Okay. Please don't flinch. Nice. Alright, get a U-turn off. He's definitely Scarf. I don't think you want to stay in with a Scarf Landorus, since I think Landorus can be really good against me. I'm going to go Rotom. I'm going to find out if I'm HP Ice, HP Grass, or HP Fire, because I honestly have no idea what this Rotom set is. It looks like I am HP Ice. I do want to throw off a Volt Switch since Hydro Pump is like very obvious. And I don't think you want to stay in with Landorus, to be honest. I don't feel like you would. Yeah. Okay. Because Rock Slide's not going to do much anyway. Oh, it's a Gyarados. Oh, boy. I'll take that. I'll take that. Okay, I'm going to Volt Switch into that Gyarados. Get rid of this Gyarados. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, man. Beautiful. Beautiful turn. Okay. Because, like, even if Landorus stayed in Rock Slide, it wasn't going to do much. I always had my own Landorus as a switch in, and I could have U-turned once again. So that's the reason why I Volt Switched. I was honestly trying to think maybe catch a Mimikyu, but the Gyarados works out amazingly for me. So let us see what my opponent's gonna opt for here. I do bring in my own landers as Mimikyu is gonna come back out. Okay, so my Altaria doesn't look like it does much here, although it can. I think I'm just gonna U-turn out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna U-turn out. And do I have to sack Mons? Probably. I kind of want to go Rotom. Actually, Mimikyu is a problem. Now I kind of wish I brought Pharaoh over Altaria. I go Altaria. Like, the problem is what set he is. If he Sword Stance, that's a problem. Rotom's kind of expendable here, so I'll go into Rotom. Let's see what Mimikyu's gonna go for. Oh, just a Z move right away. I would have preferred going into Altaria then. Okay. I would have preferred sacking Altaria here because then I could get a free switch back into Landers and probably click like Stone Edge or Earthquake. I think Earthquake was my play, then double out into Rotom. Okay. So we're gonna take a lot from this, especially since it's not Intimidate, unfortunately. I want to go Landers because I didn't want to reveal my third Mon. How much is this gonna do for the Mimikyu? This is gonna do a massive amount. Oh wow, Rotom actually survives. Okay. So I'm gonna throw off a Hydro Pump here. Yeah, I'm gonna Hydro Pump here in case you want to go hard Landers for some reason. Shadow Sneak gonna come out, which is fine. If it was Shadow Sneak, I guess I could have went out into my own Landers there. Okay. I want to go my own Landers. Now the problem is, what do you do? Do you go back into your own Landers? Even if you do, I think Earthquake's always the play. I'll always Earthquake the Mimikyu. 100%. Okay. So the Mimikyu is going to switch out into Landers. Maybe I should have went for U-turn, but I really didn't want Altaria weakened because it looks like it's my best switch into Landers. Actually, if I get a Cotton Guard up, and I definitely feel like I can in the position I'm in, I think that's the best play, actually. I'm going to go in Altaria and try to Cotton Guard up. I do have to hope I live 2 Rock Slides, one into normal and one into the Mega form, but I feel like this is the best play still. So I'll go Altaria here on the Rock Slide, or U-turn. It is Rock Slide. Okay. Altaria taking that really, really well, though. Okay. So I definitely want to Roost here. I think Altaria can honestly win this game as long as I avoid getting flinched. And since my opponent's staying in, he's definitely going for another Rock Slide. So please, Altaria, don't flinch, because this Roost is honestly huge here. Because if I'm forced to Roost again, it's a big problem. Rock Slide. Does a lot less. Please get the Roost off. Now my opponent can double out on the Mimikyu. But I'm going to Roost here. 100%. Oh, wow, you're staying in. Oh, please don't get the double. Okay, nice. And I'm going to Roost up one more time so I can be healthy. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Maybe my opponent's not expecting the Roost set. I definitely want to Roost again, though. For sure. Even if Mimikyu comes in, I have Landers as a switch in, and I can always U-turn. So I feel like this is always the play. As my opponent's honestly staying in, not going to Mimikyu, which I feel like you should always go Mimikyu. But alright. Nice, because I do get my recovery off. And now I can draw off Hyper Voices and pressure the Mimikyu or the Landers that wants to stay in. So I'll take this, for sure. I either get the damage on Mimikyu or I get the damage on Landers. And this is absolutely huge. I could set up a Cotton Guard, but I always have Landers as a switch in anyway, and I feel like I could just hard switch in the Landers on a few turns. So I don't think Cotton Guard's worth it here, especially since my opponent does go switch out the Landers into Mimikyu. That's absolutely huge for me, because now I'll be able to get a Hyper Voice off and target down this Mimikyu for a 2-hit KO. It looks like very nice. Play Rough shouldn't do too much, but I think going my own Landers is always the safe play. I think going Landers is always the safe play because of the fact that I don't want Altaria to take too much damage to where I could get Scarf Rock Slide swept or Stone Edge potentially if my opponent has double rock move. Play Rough going to come out, shouldn't do too much. Yeah. And I think I want a U-turn here this time because losing Mimikyu means you probably lose to my Altaria, which I'm not sure if you want. So I'm just going to U-turn here. If you stay in with Mimikyu, yeah, I don't think you stay in with Mimikyu because having your Landers locked into a move is pretty bad in a situation, especially if you have to lock yourself in a Rock Slide, because you can either miss, and then I can roost stall you with my Altaria. So U-turn is always the most optimal play here. And does this time do I want a Cotton Guard? I feel like I can just go Altaria and click Hyper Voice because if my opponent locks himself into Earthquake, obviously it's going to do a decent amount to my Altaria. But the problem is, like, I could always switch in my Landers, and yeah, then my opponent's kind of trapped in. So I'm just going to click Hyper Voice here. I either get rid of the Mimikyu, get a lot of damage on Landers, and Landers probably has to lock itself in a Rock Slide or U-turn, yeah, because you can't really lock yourself in an Earthquake because I can always go Landers, and then you're in a pretty bad spot. So does a lot because it's crit and flinches. Bit unfortunate. I will Hyper Voice again. Or maybe I should have roosted. I think Hyper Voice is safe, to be honest, because I don't want to give Mimikyu a opportune time to set up because my opponent could expect to roost this time and go hard in a Mimikyu here. So yeah, I think the play is always to just go for a Hyper Voice here as Rock Slide is going to come out. Okay. I do get a Hyper Voice off. That's beautiful damage on the Landers. My opponent might be swept by Stone Edge later in the game if I decide to go that route. But looking kind of dangerous, actually. I should have roosted first. Or Cotton Guard, I guess. I don't think Cotton Guard's ever to play if I don't need to. Rock Slide. Okay, it looks like I'll live another. And I do get a roost off. Great. Even if he goes Mimikyu, his Landers is extremely low, has limited switching, so I think I'll roost again just to be safe. Yeah, I'll go for roost just to be safe again. Actually, no, I could have Hyper Voiced here because it doesn't matter if Altaria is weakened because my Landers Revenge KOs and Hyper Voice always threatens a Mimikyu, so he can't set up on me. So, well, I guess it doesn't matter in this case. I do get the roost off, so that just gives me more opportunities to where he's less likely to flinch me out of this game or crit because his power points are becoming extremely low. Gonna go for Hyper Voice here for sure. I'm just putting myself in a position where I feel like I win the game. I don't know, I'm just really glad I haven't run into Swords Dance Mimikyu because I feel like, or maybe this is Swords Dance Mimikyu, but yeah, Swords Dance. I think he should have definitely clicked it here, but I'm definitely gonna just click Hyper Voice here. Landers goes down or Mimikyu goes down. Mimikyu's Revenge KO'd by my Landers' Earthquake, so I'm not really too worried about that. I don't think Cotton Guard was ever to play. Unfortunate because we never got to use it. We just brought Altaria. First game it got frozen. This game, it's putting in some work though. Mega Altaria is putting in some work here. So let's see what my opponent's going to do. Opt for a Rock Slide again? Or are you just going to switch out into your Mimikyu, sack it off? But then again, then I think you 100% lose the game. I think you have to sack Landers here. 100%. Because you hope that maybe Mimikyu can get a Super Shadow Sneak crit on my Landers at this point. I mean, your options are very limited anyway from the start. If you go Mimikyu and sack it, then your Landers is locked into a move. And which is Rock Slide, and I don't think you have enough power points to beat me. As I do get the Hyper Voice off. So that should knock out Landers. And I'm curious how much Play Rough honestly does to my Altaria. So Landers goes down. Great, great, great. And then the Mimikyu comes out. I just click Hyper Voice. Yes. Always click Hyper Voice here. No reason not to. Let's see how much Play Rough does though. I doubt it actually kills Altaria because honestly, Mimikyu without the boost is pretty weak. It is Swords Dance, so my opponent did not opt to Swords Dance right away. That's honestly huge for me. I definitely feel like if you Swords Dance up on the turn you went for the Z move straight into Rotom, I 100% lost the game. But instead, able to get rid of the Mimikyu here, and that's going to be a good game to my opponent. So I felt like even though I won, I did make some big crucial mistakes. Altaria ended up putting in the work, but I feel like maybe Pharaoh was probably better for the late game because Mimikyu was just such a big problem to my team. I think I should have tried to get, I I should probably play, like, bring Pharaoh in matchups against Mimikyu, because this team can be really weak to Sword Dance Mimikyu. But anyway, hope everyone in the first battle. Let me just say, if I didn't get frozen, I feel like Altaria combined with Lander switching in on Noggin Adele, like, could have been absolutely huge. And if I get a Hyper Voice off into Gyarados once, like, the damage is really crucial for Volt Switch. Obviously, I did choke because I didn't know how much Thunderbolt did. Maybe I should have just went for Specs Thunderbolt. But if Gyarados did survive, got another Dragon Dance up, I think I would have just lost anyway. Where I think if I go Landorus, I can at least negate the attack stat to a good amount, and I do have a chance to outspeed potentially if it's not like max speed Gyarados. It was max speed Gyarados there, but I believe so. But yeah, that's basically my thought process for game 1 and game 2. But hope everyone enjoyed today's episode of the Singles Battle Spot Ladder. We end up going 2-0 in today's episode. Some really good games, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like if my opponents just made that one difference with Mimikyu, could have been really different, especially the Sword Dance game 2. Game 1, I just don't know what that Mimikyu set is. Did not have an attacking move. It was Salad Berry, had sub. Was it like Pain Split or something? I don't know. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. And as always, you can check out the rest of my stuff down below. My social medias, my Twitch channel, my VGC playlist. You can check out the new singles playlist and previous episodes, all that good stuff. Go check them out. Otherwise, feel free to leave a like on this video to show your support for Singles Battle Spot, as well as feel free to leave a comment down below because I do read them. Otherwise, have a great day, people. I will catch you around in another video.